Hi, everyone. I'm Gold Derby News and Features Editor Ray Richmond, and I'm here today with Josh Segarra, who's been a regular in not one, not two, but three series over the past year that are in Emmy contention. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law on Disney Plus, the Big Door Prize on Apple TV Plus, and the other two on HBO and Max. So, Josh, you've been consistently working in film and TV well over a decade. Suddenly, your name seems to be everywhere, mostly over the past year or two. Does it feel like you've recently broken through to a new level? What's going on with you?
Yeah, nah, man. I mean, it's a very nice and it's very flattering that I hope people are out there enjoying what's going on. But to me, it's just trying to stay busy, man. Just trying to stay busy. That's all we're doing over here.
You've always been described lately as a scene stealer. Maybe it's time for you to star in your own series. What do you think?
Ray, what's up? Are we gonna do something? Let's go. Like you tell me, wherever that is. No, honestly, I have such a ball getting to play in the worlds that I'm getting to play in right now. I'm working with people that I love and respect, and I'm getting to work for some writers and some showrunners that I'm a fan of, first and foremost. I'm getting to join the Marvel universe and getting to join the Scream universe and playing with Chris and Sarah, who are head writers of SNL, and working with David West Reed, who has just been such a legend. And honestly, I wouldn't change a single thing. So whatever's next, I'll be ready for it. But until then, I'm having the time of my life right now.
Speaking of the Marvel Universe and all that, and before we get to your TV work, I wanted to bring up the fact you had a role in Scream 6
Yeah, yeah.
this past spring as what Sam's secret boyfriend, was it?
Yes, yes, that's exactly what it was.
How much fun was that?
It was awesome. Just a trip to join the franchise, such a storied franchise, to join the likes of actors that I've respected for so long, to be on the same list as them is pretty incredible. And then to shoot a horror movie is just already in and of itself a ball. And you're out there and you're hollering at the top of your lungs, or you're getting to play opposite such an iconic character like Ghostface that it was very fun. And to work with that cast, I had the best time. We had a great time in Montreal shooting it. It was very, very fun.
And didn't I hear that you read when you were auditioning, you read for Ghostface or you thought you were going to be Ghostface?
Yeah, they're very protective over the script. So I'd only gotten the first two acts. I didn't get the third act of the movie. And right before the third act, we leave to get on the train. So the subway scene was the last piece of the movie I read. And then I had my callback. And for my callback, they had me do a two-page scene, but pretty much a whole page monologue of me confessing to be the killer. So I'm doing this entire callback and I'm delivering that monologue thinking that I'm going to be the killer. So, whatever it was, a week later or 2 weeks later, they sent me the third act of the script. And I was like, oh, I get to work. And we're all sitting around breaking bread, commiserating. Actors is like, man, when I did that monologue for my callback, and I was like, wait, you did that monologue? And like, yep. I'm like, you did that monologue? Like, yeah. And they told me, like, dude, everybody does that. It's part of the callback process. So, joke was on me for sure on that one.
Is it way different doing a horror film than anything else? I mean, is it a specific kind of narrative and a specific kind of acting that you do, or I mean, it just seems like it would be a huge amount of fun.
That's it. I mean, honestly, no, it's no different. My job is no different, let's say. I'm still trying to play this character as honestly as possible. I'm trying to play each moment as it comes. My job is the same. Now, the world might be a little different. It's very different playing in an Italian restaurant slash sports center in Deerfield, as Giorgio versus playing in New York City as a aspiring shoe designer that works at the Foot Locker as Lance versus Danny Brackett, who lives in New York City and that finds himself in a pretty scary situation, let's say. But the common thread, I guess, is that all these characters are very loyal characters and they love very hard. So for me, it's the same job, protect and be there for my partner.
Speaking of all that, well, yeah, let's go through your TV roles. Starting with She-Hulk. Um, talk about the reaction to your playing Pug, right? Uh,
Yeah.
what did you like about working in that show?
I love, man, I mean, just getting that phone call was pretty crazy, joining the universe. I'm a big fan of, I have a lot of nerd qualities about me, okay? If I panned across my office right now, you would see a lot of wrestling action figures. You'd see all of my She-Hulk action figures that I've collected. You'd see all the She-Hulk comics up there, a lot of the Green Arrow. For me, got some Vigilante comics. I've got a Prometheus comic up there. I've got a lot of stuff in here that are the things that made me. Some Ninja Turtle posters, some Ninja Turtle action figures. A lot of things that make me are part of my nerddom. So getting that call to join the Marvel Universe was pretty incredible. And what I love about joining it, I love the fan base. That was it. It's probably the first job I've had in a long time. The most, honestly, where the show came out and you usually get, hey, you're on that show. Oh man, thanks, and you're like, oh bro, appreciate that, man. Thanks so much. Take it easy, have a good one. She-Hulk comes out, and it's like I was joining someone else's family because the fans have been watching it for, however many years. So it's me entering their world. So at a restaurant, they say, hey, man, you're Pug. I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm Josh. Good to meet you. And they're like, yo, you know what I liked about episode 3? Well, when you guys did this, I'm like, yeah, tell me about that, So I was joining somebody else's family, which was a very funny thing.
Oh, the Marvel people, they take this so seriously. It's like,
Absolutely.
you're right. This
Absolutely.
is not entertainment for them. It's life.
No way. It's which I love. That's me too.
You know, I'm embarrassed to say this, Josh, but when I saw like a bus bench advertising She-Hulk, I thought that's what an interesting way for an attorney to advertise. This is this is what a schmuck I am. I actually thought, well, that's just a real attorney doing that. And then I've, I didn't admit it until just now that I actually mistook that for a real
I
person.
love it. I love
Yeah,
it. If you
yeah.
want green, go green,
I'm
right?
telling you, it seemed like a really good advertising or marketing gambit to me.
Absolutely. It was a
I don't know
genius marketing campaign. It really was. No, I'm
for
with you. It was
sure.
genius. Genius.
So then you're on the Big Door Prize.
Yeah.
Very cool comedy. Got great
Thanks.
reviews. You're Giorgio. You're a retired New York Rangers goalie
Yep, yep.
who owns a cheesy Italian restaurant. What attracted you to that? Are you a hockey fan? You a fan of Italian food? Just a fan of great comedy?
I mean, I think you nailed it on the head just now. I used to work at the Olive Garden, so I've consumed many breadsticks in my life, okay? I can give you some OG tips. You can always ask for a side of Alfredo sauce. You got to order the peach Bellini tea. They give you slices of fresh peach in there, okay? I knew exactly where the breadstick oven was. I love the Olive Garden. I could tell you that I'm a big Rangers fan, so just knowing that he was a former Ranger, I knew that was for me. I've always wanted to play a former athlete. I wanted to play an athlete. The fact that he's a former athlete that runs an Italian restaurant is even better. I love an arcade. I love playing Papa Shot and air hockey, and I just knew. And then then the other part of me was getting to work with a writer like David. I was just such a fan of his work. When I got to meet him, when I got to chat with him, he's a huge hockey fan, and we just really got along great. And working with Chris O'Dowd, I'm such a fan of his, so I knew that we'd be playing off of each other. Working with an incredible actor like him, a lot of things that very easy to check off that list of why I wanted to do it, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
And now you're still a part of it. I imagine now that the show got renewed for season two.
Oh yeah.
You're back for season two, I trust.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You'll get to know Giorgio
Giorgio
even
is
more.
there.
Absolutely.
Any hints of anything you can tell us? Is he going to start eating breadsticks on camera?
If they listened to me, I'd be eating breadsticks every episode. You'll see Giorgio. Part of what I love about the character is that I'm pretty fascinated by characters that read one way on the page, but I want to bring something different to them. I like to try to imagine why this person is the way that they are. So Giorgio, when you meet him, as they say about him on the show, sometimes he speaks at an inappropriate volume. Sometimes he could be what's the opposite of humble, but you realize that the reason why he is the way he is because of something that I think we all go through, which is he just wants to be told that he's doing okay, and he wants to be loved, and he wants to find somebody to love him for him, and that he doesn't have to be anything extra for, and he wants to be told that they're proud of him. And I think in season 2, you start to see him hopefully start to find something like that, and we go from there.
It's such a great concept, the whole idea
It
of
really
the
is.
show.
It
Can
really
you talk
is.
about that concept just for a second, real quick? And
Absolutely.
because it sounds,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's about this machine that comes to town, to a
Yeah.
small town,
Yeah.
um, that kind of measures your potential.
Yeah. It tells you your true life potential, which would be funny. Would you do the machine, Ray? Would you sit in
Oh,
that machine? In a
in a
second, me
second,
too, right?
and then I'd be neurotic and paranoid about it for
Same.
weeks.
That's exactly it. Me too.
Yeah.
Of course I would do. My curiosity would get the best of me. I'd want to know exactly what the machine would say, and then I'd be paranoid about it, neurotic about it, 100%. No, I love it. I mean, I think there's a psychologist or a philosopher. I need to get it right because it's something I think about a lot, where they spoke about how the saying is seeing is believing, right? That's the one we all know. But the saying should actually be believing is seeing, because if you believe something hard enough, it usually you start to see it that way, right? It rarely is the other way. There are things that we can see every day that we still don't believe. So I think that's what our show is discussing. I think it's discussing that. I think that it's discussing the idea or the difference between potential and destiny. Destiny is something that is bound to happen versus potential is something that could happen. So, how much are you going to focus on your potential? Usually, you'll focus on it harder if it's something that you want to come to fruition. And I think for my character, Giorgio has an interesting relationship with his card, because he gets superstar, and I like to picture him at night thinking about that card and what that means to him. Does he feel like he's already accomplished his potential and he's no longer a superstar? Does he like to think that he's still a superstar because now he's Deerfield's most eligible bachelor and runs this successful Italian restaurant? Or is he trying to still be a superstar? And I think that's what makes him a fun character to really delve into.
And this is why they hired the right guy for this role. You're a deep thinker. Listen to you.
Thanks,
That's
pal.
that's pretty cool stuff. No, and let's get to the other two. Your character, Lance Arroyo, has become this fan favorite. You're such a classic himbo, and you left your career. You're a sneaker influencer in season 3, but you left to become a nurse.
Uh-huh.
How did that
Uh-huh.
work out?
Well, the real story behind it is I shot Chris and Sarah our text before we started season 3. And I said, all right, we ended, with the big fashion show with him and Chase Dreams, his clothing line. Where we at now? We got a new deal with Nike. We got this and that. And they said, nope, he's a nurse. And I was like, okay. But I love that. That's why I love that character. He's fiercely loyal. He's just innately good. He's good. Even with fashion, even with his sneakers. He wanted people to feel like $1,000,000. He wanted them to feel their best. He wanted to give people a reason to feel fly and feel good. And then during the pandemic, he listened to his gut, and he realized that if I really want to do good, I got to go help people. I got to be where they need me most. And I think that that's what makes Lance who he is. He's always going to be there for the people that he loves. And in season 3, we see him take that to the nth degree, that he's there for people that don't even know him, but he loves hard. He's a very clear, distinct character to play for me. He always makes the positive choice. I try to take as much as I can from Lance.
And from sneakers to healthcare. Wow.
Yeah, right. You know he's keeping them fresh inside that hospital. You know he is.
What so what's your favorite of these three roles? I mean, is it can you pick a favorite or is it
No.
impossible to choose among your children?
It's impossible. It's exactly it. You can't pick between your kids, and I can't pick between these roles, but because they're all different versions of me. You know, they're all. Whenever I get any new part, uh, first thing I do is try to imagine myself in the circumstances in which they grew up in. You know, what would it be like if Josh was doing such and such and such and such? If I was paying my way through law school and I got jumped by a gang and Spider-Man saved me, what would I be as Pug? You know, if I was a professional hockey player and I injured my catching hand deadlifting 485 pounds, and I move back and I take the insurance money and I open an Italian restaurant, what would I be now? You know, of course I would do the same. I would change that number every time I told the story. If I told you the story right now, I'd be like, oh, I was deadlifting 620 pounds, you know? That number gets higher and higher. And they're all different avenues of me and parts of me that I'm very lucky that I get to go play out, and I can jump off these cliffs every day at work. Then I can come back home and I can be dad to my three boys. I can be husband to my wife. That's my favorite role I get to play. I love it, man. You know, and all these my job is something that's afforded me the opportunity to be very. I'm a very, very proud cat. I'm very, very happy that I get to do what I get to do. And I'm gonna enjoy it all.
When you get recognized these days, Josh, is it more for the other two or uh, big door prize or which
It's a
or
little bit of
does it vary?
everything. It's a
Yeah,
little bit of everything. My favorite game is to try to figure out what they know me from. You know, like
because they're like, I know you. What do I know you from?
that's it. That's it. I still get Chicago PD. I still get FBI. Every the other day I got Orange is the New Black. So
That goes
I
back a ways.
yeah, I love it. It's my favorite thing, and I appreciate when anybody is kind to me out there. I'm a fan of this business first and foremost. You know, whenever I see artists that I admire and I love, I definitely shoot them a hey, I love your work, bro. You know, or hey, I really appreciate you. Thank you for everything. You know, and so if anybody shouts that out to me, I appreciate you. You know, and thanks for the support.
Do you think, Josh, the fact that you're of Puerto Rican descent has helped you, hurt you, or been of no consequence in your career?
It's helped me because it's part of what I am. You know, I embrace all of what I am. I come from a hilarious family. I come from a culture and a family that loves hard. Puerto Ricans are passionate. That's what my mom and my dad are. They're passionate. They're loyal to me and they're funny. And I just come from a really strong community. You know, the community I was raised in is one that I still think about. And there are choices that I make on screen that are my family. You know, there's a scene in episode 1 of season 3 of the other two where the line is where me and Brooke are talking at the premiere for Night Nurse, and I'm talking about what she's watched, how bored she was over the pandemic. I'm like, no, babe, remember you watched all 40 seasons of Survivor, you watched all of Grey's Anatomies, da 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 da, and the line is Grey's Anatomy, but my mom says Grey's Anatomies because that's her way of saying it. So I always try to add in a little Puerto Ricanisms, you know, to make sure that I'm speaking for all of us, you know.
With that, we're out of time. You can see Josh
All right.
Segarra in the Big Door Prize streaming on Apple TV Plus. It's going to take a half an hour just to list your credits right now. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, streaming on Disney Plus, and you can see the other two on HBO and streaming on Max. Josh Segarra, good luck this Emmy
Thank
season.
you.
Thanks for joining us today at Gold Derby.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Fun chat.
Thank you.